Good evening, night owls and gamers alike, and welcome back to another stream presented by the Turbo Blaze guys. And tonight we are here for a special one. This is the second round of the Asynchronous Tournament that's being hosted by Cardboard Warriors this month. I'm joined by a very special guest tonight, first time on the channel, another one of our Turbo Blaze teammates, Mr. Evan Wiki. Evan, how you feeling tonight, bud?
Excited to comment on how they're playing here.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of a special one tonight. Now, Spence and Ghouls have paired into each other in the second round. Both of them started their tournaments 1-0. And so we're actually doing a little bit of testing with a new brew of colorless that we've termed a salt horn. And so tonight we're gonna see basically a 59 card mirror. Spence just didn't own a copy of Parallel City, so had to kind of make do with Avery. But it's a very, very, very high skill level deck, in my opinion. I piloted a couple rounds now and made some huge mistakes and blunders. So hopefully we'll see both these guys play it as cleanly as possible. This is a brew that came straight out of Ghouls' brain, with a lot of testing, of course, from all of us, and very excited to kind of gather some information on it and see exactly where it's at over the coming months. As you know, we're eyeing up these big events in the future, always on this channel. All right, Evan. So I know that they've already rolled for who is taking priority here, and Ghouls has lost the toss, is going first, and so they're setting up now. Looks like Spence is giving him a mulligan, at least one or two here. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks like two there
Yeah,
so far.
cool. I'll go ahead and let these guys know that they can start whenever they are ready. They're not playing under timer rules tonight, so gonna kind of be just a casual pace. Both of them have kids that could wake up at any moment, so we respect that, and be with you guys the whole way. All right, guys, y'all are good to go whenever you're ready. And with that, Evan, the boys will be off and running here shortly. Man, it's good to have you on. I was telling the guys tonight
Yeah.
that I was really excited to get you some screen time. Evan, is our newest quote unquote member of the Turbo Blaze family. We're growing at this point, trying to, like we've said many times, assemble a big group of Titans who we're not afraid to walk into any gym leader challenge tournament and say, "Hey, we're here," and Evan falls right in line with that. Evan is a locals champion, time over, many winnings in the Cardboard Warrior server as well. So a very respected competitor for us. We were very excited when he accepted the invitation as well, and can't wait for all the things to come. So
Yeah, I think I fit fairly well with the current ranks of players on the team. There's a lot of like off-kilter plays that the group likes to do. Avery, the card Spence is using, being one of those cards where like not a lot of people like have ways to deal with, say, Avery, Verseeker, Avery, Parallel, like just constant bench disruption.
So
And I know for a fact Spencer knows how to rotate that stuff. I've dealt with that firsthand. So
yeah,
I'm
that
excited to see what he's able to pull off here.
that's definitely a card that we love from the group, and you're exactly right. Fits right in with the mantra of playing Avery for all that disruption. Ghoulies loves the card. We've won money with the card at this point. So
Yeah.
seeing Ghoulies get us started, fan wrote him in the active. It's like ideal, and seeing what he searched off the fan call, that tells me that all of the evolutions that you could want are in the deck now. Notably, off of his fan call, he didn't grab Squovet. So he may either have access to Squob in another way, or it may be prized. But off of his fan call, Ghouls go straight for the Wooloo, the Wingle, and the Bidoof, so that he can start using these powerful abilities as early as next turn. You know,
I could see him just having the Squabbit in hand already
yeah,
and just
I do
waiting to
too.
play it too.
I think it was a 3
Very cool.
mulligans is what I'm looking at here from that DOS. So he was helped out tremendously from the mulligans to start.
Which if Spencer's able to get into his own fan rotom, he could start off with the advantage on the prize trade.
Yeah. Yeah, the pressure here is going to be on...
There's
Yeah,
the
there's
Squabbit.
the Squabbit, yep. The pressure is going to be on the prize race.
There isn't the Squabbit.
As both of these players are going to be looking to speed through these prize cards as best as they can. I know that the ideal line that we've talked about many times is try to take a couple of prizes with the Rotom, a couple of prizes with the Cramorant, and then just figure out the other two, right? And that's what makes the deck so strong, is that while doing that, it also accomplishes a lot of disruption through the Wooloo and the Pelipper, providing both consistency and disruption when, Guzma and cards like the draw disruption are on the table. Spence is also going to get us kicked off with some fireworks here, as long as he has access to everything with a level ball and a Buddy Poppin.
Yeah.
Didn't see the fan on the initial deck search. Spencer has had some pretty rough goings when it comes to the fan rotom. I've seen it prized in several of his games, unfortunately for him. Yeah, and seeing that. Now, luckily for Spence, you don't really need fan rotom, as you have fan rotom at home with the search, but you would definitely love to be applying the pressure like you had mentioned, Evan, with your own fan now.
And I mean,
and fan rotom's already on the bench for Spence, so it was in the deck, so good to go.
Yeah, I'm sure both players are fearing the pressure of the Parallel or Avery. That's I feel like that's why Ghouls didn't play down the Squabbit from hand.
Yeah, and
just
Ghouls
to not have a
believer of not putting the squirrel into play until you need to nest dash anyway. So I can definitely see that playing around as well. Also, just possibly playing around Guzma play for the Squovit, though. In my head, you would take the Bidoof anyway if you were to have a Guzma with the fan play.
Capture on the Wooloo.
So must not have a way to move this fan into the active or not have access to a stadium. So
yeah.
The capture energy on the Wooloo is fine, because we know that Hops Wooloo, turning into Hops Double, it can attack for one more energy in the belt if needed. Hops Choice Band, rather, if needed. So Double is a very underexplored card in Gym Leader Challenge, in my opinion, and one of the big reasons why this deck kind of shines. You look up, and these Hops Pokemon can just be doing a ton of damage in a flash. The deck plays Postwick, it plays the Hops Choice Band, and it plays Snorlax. So in an instant, that's plus 60 damage to any attack that you could imagine from a Hops Pokemon. I've seen this Wooloo swing for 140 damage before to KO my Raging Bolt on the second turn of the game, and been incredibly upset with the way that all turned out. And there's the parallel.
There goes the parallel. Yep.
So Spence went wide and got punished for it immediately here. I would imagine probably bump the fan if you don't plan on attacking with it now, and then probably the Squovit.
Oh, Squovit or
Rangaroo. Go Squovit or Rangaroo. Yeah, I didn't like that idea. I thought that probably the fan being one of those was the key. So he may have access to Bibarel. Yeah,
the Bibarel. Oh, and there's an Iono. Ooh.
Yeah, Ghouls reads that, and you would think he definitely does. So Gonna play Iono here. Yep. So there goes Barrel and Evolution Incense. So Spence is one out now to that Barrel is Winona. Big pain. I think in that scenario, I might have pitched the Squovit just to not give that information away. When you pitch the
Yeah,
Rangaroo, you immediately tell that that's kind of where you're going.
probably pitch Orangaroo and Squavit just off the fact that neither of them are easy attackers and neither of them evolve.
Yeah, and now that Ghouls has initiated this fan with the Parallel City, you know that you're going to be able to return KO it with the fan next turn. So I don't hate that either, Evan.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. Keeping the fan on board too, and then just keeping your out to Barrel and the Evolution Incense for double. You know.
And it looks like Ghouls doesn't have energy as of yet on the board. I mean, he can get into it fairly easy here between Squavit, Orangaroo, and Bibarel, but
Yeah, the whole engine is online now for Ghoul's side of the board. Floatstone coming down to the Barrel. An EXP share to the Orangaroo for some passive energy as well to thin. Must not want to nest dash away one of
yeah,
the assets
something
in
in hand
hand.
matters.
Yeah. Still no energy. There we go.
Nope.
Lightning energy
There.
bails him out. And that's a perfect thing to go on the fan because if the fan is KO'd this turn in return, then that basic lightning energy will just pass back to the Orangaroo.
The only thing is, unless he has double unless he has double, he can't knock out Cram with the fan. He's only doing 70.
Yeah, but I think that, I mean, at that point, you probably just are swinging in and saying that's fine. So this is another possible reason, Evan, why he kept the draw live because he can draw into escape rope here and not go after this Cramorant. You know, actually take a knockout on something else. Yep. So
Taking the 70.
it's a good shout. It's definitely a big key piece to see there. That's what this deck's all about, man. It's a math and energy and resource kind of war. And we see that Ghouls has delivered the first big punch here with this Parallel City, locking Spencer out of these board Pokemon, as well as going to force Spencer to use these recovery cards on these Pokemon to reestablish them if he wants to. And, you know, you want to be using those recovery cards for Cramorant turns more than anything. So Spence,
He's got to have a way to get rid of the stadium there if he's
eyeing
quick
up.
ball.
He's eyeing up a stadium card in that view. He may have Guzman Hala in hand
Mm-hmm.
or access to it. Quick ball away in the special charge just to probably get some intel here on what this play looks like now that everything has been done on Ghoul's side of the board.
Does this list also have access to Chorus Tenacity?
It does.
Would have that? Oh. If he just benched it there, that could be... Nope, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, and off a quick ball, you don't have to bench it, so
Yep.
You know, just laying it down there, he caught that pretty quick. All good. be going back in here, like you had mentioned. Could be Colress's Tenacity, could be Guzma and Hollow, one of the two. All right, or just a straight bump. It's fine. But now you have fueled some damage on Ghoul's side of the board if he chooses to
Oh,
go
the
into
Winona.
Yep, and we just talked about that card. That is one of the outs to this evolution search. Now, the Ghouls can now go for the double and the barrel. Or Spencer, rather, can go for the double and the barrel. And the hop slacks as well, notably to start boosting damage, and another good attacker in the list. One of those kind of figure it out, the other couple of prizes. Attackers.
So he's got both Snorlax and double in hand currently.
Yeah, both Snorlaxes and the double. Mm-hmm. Who are you bossing here is the thing with this double.
Could be Oranguru.
I think
to
so.
Retreat.
To retreat, got the EXP share on it. Force a resource. You know that he didn't have Gust in the form of Escape Rope last turn, but with the Wingull down, Pelipper's just a search away from a Guzma.
Yep. There's the Oranguru. Beautiful.
Scoop up net. So gonna totally erase that last turn of damage from Ghoul's side of the board. Won't be able to use it on his double or Pelipper coming down the line, but erasing that turn and getting a possible attack off this turn.
Ooh, not benching any of the Snorlax.
Interesting. I don't know what the reason for that could be. I think that you're going to need those attackers on board. You've exhausted quite a bit of search at this point. Though, to be fair, none that... Yeah, no, you have. Quick Ball, Nest Ball, I think, are both down.
Yeah.
And Winona. So,
and Winona.
I'm not sure how we're finding those again, except through an Artisan. It didn't really benefit you much to hold them. We do find them and energy. Do we find the band? Probably not. Be slamming it here. Yeah. EXP share to the Squovit. Looks like it's going to be a pass turn. Yep. All right. Now, for Ghoulies, we definitely want to see a Guzma here. Now, we're just a retreat.
Yeah, and he's getting it too.
Yeah.
As long as it's in deck.
At the same time, I think that you
discard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he discarded it off the Ultra Ball last turn.
Yep. Because it was the Guzma and the special charge.
And here we go. You go after the barrel 100% of the time here.
No,
you're taking out the knockout.
Yeah.
No, just taking the KO, I would imagine.
Yep.
Yep. Good job. Yeah, so just declaring that we're going to get as much mileage out of the fan as possible. It is a high priority attacker.
I could see him going further into deck for, like, is there a Devo spray in the list?
Yes, yeah, Devo spray and Scoop Up Net both on the list. So
I could see him going for that.
Yeah.
Just to further set up the Guzma pressure.
And again, gonna hold on to those two cards, elect to draw up, and then my guess would be to go deeper here if he feels like he needs to. So very cool routing. Something that I'm going to take away from this match, seeing how you actually do see more cards, it feels like, over the course of the turn if you elect to go
Yeah,
certain other
especially
ways.
if you have like combo pieces
Hmm.
where like say you have one card and you're like, oh, if only I had this other one, and you just grab 2 or 3 off the bib roll.
Right. There's the
Yep,
Devo
there's
spray.
the Devo.
Yep.
Yep.
So he got us exactly where he needed to be. All right. And so Ghoul's going to initiate the prize race here. And this is why, like you, Evan, I would have liked to have saw some of those other Pokemon bench last turn. Because
Yeah.
now they are buried deep in this list.
Yeah, unless he got an out to like Field Blower to like slow down an Oranguru setup with that experience share gone,
Mm-hmm.
he could be in a really rough spot here. Just going for an Arvin search.
So we're going to get the band to
So
be
he's
able
getting
to.
the band for sure. That's good. But I
But
do
now
think,
this is what I mentioned last turn. I think we've exhausted quite a lot of
yeah.
search. Nest Ball is the
Oh, he's
last
got Nest.
search. Yep,
Yeah.
that's the last one.
Yeah, because Quick, Hoffman, Level,
Mm-hmm.
all gone.
Yep. Only other way is Artisan.
Yeah. Verse Seeker Winona? Anyone?
Yeah.
That ooh, that'd be rough.
But thankfully, with this Nest Ball too, he will reset the order of the deck, so live could draw into certain things. It looks like he's actually going to elect to forego the Cramorant. I mean, Ghoul's not on the prizes at this point either, so
Yeah.
no real urgency to get it down. Probably
Get
eyeing
the
up
squab
this
attack.
Squove it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think so.
Get the stuff that's in his hand back into his deck.
It's only a 1 or 2 card hand anyway, so being able to.
I believe it's 3 after the
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. Ooh. Lost City? He hates Van Rotem that much?
I guess.
Or could be going for something like Escape Guzma, or trying to take out something that matters a little more. Okay, yeah. There goes Van Rotem to the lost zone.
Hating on the fan. All right. So now Ghoulies promotes the Babero with the Floatstone, and we could be off to the races. We know that that Pelipper is in hand for another potential gust this turn if need be. Although I think that at this point you just want to deal with the double in the room if possible. Take that out this turn would be where I think you would like to be, though not somewhere that you have to be, I don't think. So be interested to see where Ghoulies takes this. This is where the skill expression of the deck and it just feels like you have the world at your fingertips. It's really just your decision from here.
Yeah, and he currently still has that Pelipper, which is
Yeah,
scary.
exactly. That's the.
It's just.
Yep. The world is literally at his disposal right now, and it's just up to him to decide what he thinks the routing is here.
He does have a lot in hand as well.
Yeah. so we're going to see Artisan come into play and bump that Lost City.
And he still has both Snorlax in deck.
Yep.
Because he's gonna have to have one of the Snorlax to one shot that double. Unless he has access to powerful energy or something similar.
Which, of course, he does right now.
Yeah.
As long as it's in deck.
Because, like, Pelipper for Raihan, or no, the singular energy that he has used got moved, didn't it?
Yes. Always a weird kind of interaction with EXP Share and Raihan.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you let it go or keep it. Because, yeah, you're right, Evan, with if that energy were to have went to the discard pile, then a Unfaced Fat Snorlax is online right now. That would be a very good target for Ghouls to be attacking with this turn. I would think, in my headspace anyway. You've got the Artist on there already out in play. Double Turbo Energy access through the Pelipper, through one of the supporters. And Raihan, like you had said, that's probably the way that just easiest done. Raihan could have accelerated the yellow energy and then searched out the double turbo.
Wondering how many options he has left to where if he were to get it in hand, if he would be able to discard it.
Yeah, we saw the Ultra Ball play for the barrel earlier on, so I know that that is not an out at this point. Quick Ball would be an out to discard a basic color, and Goose Mahala. So,
Oh, yeah, so another supporter. Yeah, that.
Unfortunate. Yep.
And he's already used Evolution Incense.
And it's kind of funny because we've been in the blender with this deck for weeks. And Ghouls' first round match, he was matched up into Castella, and the match unfortunately never ended up taking place because of some scheduling issues, and Tom just never was made from one player's end. So this is Ghouls' first time actually playing the list in the tournament, and he's now, my guess, feeling what we've been feeling for the last couple of weeks. Just this, it feels like you're in a blender with all the decisions that you have access to and the routing that you have to take appropriately.
Yeah, which in like a high level tournament setting that's nightmare mode right there. That gets scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not exactly where I want to be unless I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah.
So right now he could Pelipper for Goose Hala, grab the tool, grab the double turbo energy, swing.
Yep. And I imagine that's probably somewhere along the lines of what we're going to see, Evan, to be honest. Declaring that with the Hopslacks bench there. And then we have plenty of resources to discard probably out of this hand. Like you had mentioned, the hand's pretty juiced. So could even get a basic color down that way for later Raihan turns.
Yeah, future Raihan continue powering up the Oranguru.
Because you're going to need it if you go into this world where you have to finish with these 3 energy attackers. That's the little bit kind of touchy thing with the list, is that coming down the stretch, if you are continuously having to power up 3 energy attackers, it's a little tough.
Cypher Maniac.
It's fine. He's just going to draw into those cards.
Yep.
Yeah. Rather than having to waste the Goose Hollow. Or, we don't know. The Goose Hollow could be prized.
Rancorous Tenacity.
Okay. So this is interesting now.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we're in the blender. Like I said, Evan, we're in the blender, cuz he's feeling it. He is feeling it.
Yeah, because this would allow him to guarantee the energy and the tool.
Yep. Yeah, this was a misplay that I made in my first round. I was playing against the Drago box deck, and I had my opponent down to basically bare minimum. Drudagon was their last prize card, and on the turn that I had to take the knockout on the Reggie Drago, I had everything put together and just missed that the Pelipper that I evolved had to be for Cypher Maniacs for the tool and something else, but I had it all right in front of me and just missed it. It's that easy to do. And then once you're in a tournament setting and the cards are on the table, too late.
Yeah, it's a very overlooked card in colorless, because it's literally grab 2 cards as long as you have access to your abilities.
And Evan, I've been pushing strong, and I know a buddy of ours, Justice.
Ooh, Field Blower.
Justice, too, has been pushing strong for teammates in the list. Teammates would have been a fixer right there. Knockout taken last turn, Pelipper for teammates for whatever you want. You don't have to, lose your hand, so to speak.
So he's powering up the Oranguru.
So it could be looking at a Gust on the Squirrel again. If he has access to double, which he does, of course, because of the supporter played.
Mm-hmm. Well, the top deck with Field Blower, the second top deck was the double color or double turbo, not the banned one.
So just gonna swing into this double. Interesting.
Yeah.
Make him commit another energy. It's not enough damage to knock out without the hop slacks. So.
Yeah, I think he was worried about the Squavit having the energy.
I don't know that I like any of that, but it's not me on the table, so.
How much does Squavit do?
Well, it's not Squavit that you got to worry about. It's Squavit Senior. Greedent. Greedent for 2 energies. If you discard 5 cards from your hand, does 210. I think right there. I mean, Ghoulies probably has to just be declaring that he's not ready to go into Cramorant turns for Spence yet. I don't know, though. I think that in my head there, if you're going to attack with a Rangaroo, leave your double turbo in the... Well, you have to have it to even launch the attack. So, yeah, I guess that all checks out. Maths. So here comes a Guzma from Spence's side on the Wooloo. So now with an energy attachment to this double, we can take a knockout on the Wooloo and keep Ghouls from gusting this turn, forcing him to go through this double, which that's good because we know that Ghouls has already expended the Pelipper. We know that Guzma we've seen played once now, recovered. And so it's in the discard pile at this moment, unless Ghouls just draws into Versus Seeker.
Yeah, and he attached that powerful energy to the double to be able to swing hard enough.
Jeez. But you really don't even need it though, with the Wooloo being gusted up. Could have just attached any energy. The double does swing for 80. Just base damage. Interesting. Spence may also think that he just doesn't need the powerful energy.
Just
And
milling
to
it.
be fair, he really doesn't. In this list, we're an open team sheet. We know that there's no Lux Cape, so there's no real damage threshold that you're trying to push with the powerful. In my head, if it's not early with the Fan Rotom, Cramorant's going to be taking knockouts against Cramorant pretty easily. Not going to be worried about numbers not working there. Yeah, I like where Spence has been able to recover after the early Parallel City. Just kind of making Ghouls answer this double exactly now. It feels like is the correct line from Spence. We are in Cramorant turns for Ghouls first, and immediately we see the Cramorant grabbed off of the Artisan. So one basic energy, and he's going to be able to take a knockout with his bird first. And we have seen the Lost City played from Spencer's side already, haven't we, Evan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Spence won't be able to initiate the loss of Ghoul's bird. And unless Ghouls does it now.
Yeah, if Ghouls has Verse Seeker and Lost City, that could be real bad.
Yeah.
Just taking a look at their list here. Took me a minute to find it.
Oh. Sorry about that, E.
No, it's good because the parallel in Spence's list is Avery.
Avery. The parallel in Ghouls' list is Avery for Spencer.
Oh.
Yeah. Spence didn't own the parallel.
Yeah.
Look, here we go. Yo, Lost City in play. So
yeah.
I would imagine that Ghouls is about to dig for this Guzma right now. Because I don't think that Ghouls would initiate Lost City with swinging with his Cramorant unless he was 100% sure or thought that he was about to draw into Gust on Spencer's Cramorant.
Which, putting that down, how much is double doing with the powerful?
100.
So he's still short on the cram.
But we just need a Hop Slacks. Postwick, we've
Hop
already.
Slacks or Muscle Band.
Yeah, Hop Slacks or Muscle Band. Yep.
Okay.
We've already seen Postwick played down. We've already seen Hops Band. So, yep. Would be exactly kind of that out.
Wondering if he didn't edit here. Okay, just going for further setup, hoping that he doesn't get through that.
All right, and going to come back up into the Rangaroo, take the knockout, just kind of repeat what we did last turn. Now we're going to go into Cramorant turns for Spence. The double is going to go to the Lost Zone, so no more gusting through evolutions for Spencer, though he had a lot of stuff in the bin already, so I wouldn't have imagined that Spence was going to be recovering that double anytime soon anyway.
He's finally going for that Pelipper setup now.
And this is what you want to see from Spence's side of the board. You want to see, if you're not lost zoning his bird, get that Lost City out of there. You want to be able to use this Cramorant over the course of the next 2 turns. He knows that he's at no threat for a double KO from Ghouls' side of the board. Ghouls cannot knock out multiple Pokemon over the course of 1 turn. So Spence now knows that his bird is live for the next 2 turns, and so is Ghouls', to be fair. But right now, Spencer's in the prize lead, so we're okay. We're in those figure it out turns, Evan, for Spencer.
Yep.
Ghouls is mapping
It's
out.
really who can keep rolling.
Yeah. And Ghouls is mapping out turns in advance. I can promise that in some way in his head there is thought being put into down the line. That's why this Orangaroo's gotten mileage. That's why Fan Rotom got so much mileage. And we see that Ghouls does have a board state that is going to allow him to, looks like, continue to attack over these next couple of turns. Whereas Spence right now is just kind of hanging on by the Cramorant energy. We want to see like some kind of play to get some extra acceleration coming in soon for Spence. Crispin could do it. Rhyhorn, obviously, on any one of these turns can do it to bump an extra energy into play, but that's what I'm looking for if I'm Spencer.
Double turbo could work fairly well. But his tool's down though.
Yeah, the band's right. Already gone. Yep. So
yep.
Definitely want to see an extra energy attachment somewhere soon coming down the line. Gonna need it, quite frankly. But this is why this bird is so good, Evan. I was talking to Spencer about this card today. I said, Spence, ever since the double energy bans, what's the one thing that really feels like it holds colorless together? Like, if you took this card out of colorless, boy, does it fall apart. And he mentioned the Rotom, and I said, yeah, of course, but there's other ways to get Pokemon into play. The Rotom is one thing, but those turns where you're attacking with Cramorant for 1 energy now is everything for colorless, Evan.
Yeah, because you're doing 140 as long as you have that Hopslax on bench.
Yeah.
For
one like 150, 120 plus the 30, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. And then, like we mentioned, playing Postwick, also playing the Tool, playing the Lax. Gosh, Cramorant can ramp up to huge numbers real quick. And again, for 1 energy, which is where colorless needs to be right now with some of these, with the doubles being gone.
Now, did he already draw into the cards from the, or no? Yeah, he took the knockout. But did he draw after the Cypher Maniac? Or did he just set up his top deck for next turn?
Not sure. Didn't quite see. Because if he's expecting disruption from Ghoulies, which I wouldn't think that you would be now, because Iono, we know that we saw the Iono played early to knock Spencer's hand away. this Pelipper's not been devolved, so it's not going to be able to research that out this turn. Again, it's another Versus Seeker angle. So.
Yeah, Iono's down. There's no N. There's no Marnie.
Yep. So I'm not sure. He may have protected his top deck, but he may have felt comfortable to just draw into those cards. Not quite sure. I didn't catch. So here goes Ghouls. We're going to go ahead and start the drawing. We're going to Nest Dash. And we've seen the energy committed to the Hopslacks here. So Cramorant's loaded and ready to go. And this Hopslacks is going to be 2. Here comes the Scoop Up Net to get the Pelipper back up. But again, going to be 1 turn behind in terms of that. But Ghouls' board is looking pretty good right now from terms of where the energies are distributed. I think that's the recycle energy on the Cramorant too. So that's going to guarantee that when it gets knocked out, energy returns. So Ghouls right now probably just looking for a way to recover the Cramorant if the knockout is taken back this turn. Though, all right, Hex is going to be pretty strong to deny Spence the draw this upcoming turn. So if Spence doesn't have the out right now to recover the Cramorant, he is not going to be able to. So that's one way to get around the second Cramorant turn.
I'm hoping he was able to set up Raihan as his top card.
Yeah.
Because we know he has double colorless in hand.
Yep.
So like even if he didn't have a way to get the Cramorant back, he would be able to swing with either of the Snorlax, which there's that.
Rescue Stretcher.
Pretty sure he has Jet in hand as well.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, so Spence mapped out these Cramorant turns perfectly, didn't get stuck with it in the discard pile for multiple turns or anything like that. Going to be able to use it twice as long as we have access to any energy right here with the Floatstone already, or with the Air Balloon already on the barrel. And yeah, like you said, Evan, there's Jet to jet this Cramorant up into the active. Don't need any damage modifiers to knock out opposing Cramorants. 120
Ooh,
does take the KO.
I think that's Iono. Nope, Clara.
Clara, okay.
The Iono could have been huge right there because next turn, I mean, Ghouls has the Guzma again if he wants. Put that Pelipper in hand.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what Ghouls is definitely going to be looking to do this coming turn. I would imagine targeting down probably the barrel. I mean, at this point, I would think that that's the most valuable target on Spence's side of the board. He just has reestablished the Oranguru now. So Spence probably detecting and feeling that if he's going to get gusted this upcoming turn through the second Cramorant turn, that it's going to be for the barrel, if anything. All right, the Muscle Band committed to the Oranguru. Knockout taken on Cramorant. And that will take Spencer down to 2 prize cards. And Ghouls will now only have been able to use the Cramorant 1 turn from his side, right? No? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Only the 1.
Yeah, because he missed the 1 turn just off of not being able to get the damage needed, I believe.
Yep. You're right. Yeah, I knew it wasn't crazy there. So we will have a knockout here with this Snorlax, Hopslax, but
As long as he hits anything other than the Cramorant,
right,
he's doing great because
right.
Cramorant can't attack the next turn after that. Right. He's at 2 prizes.
And we know it's in hand, like we had said, from the Pelipper. Yeah. So
I could even see something as simple as another Hex.
And this is where Pelipper is such a strong card just in general, because not only does it allow you to search out those supporters from your deck, it's also the discard pile. So if you feel like the world's at your oyster, if you feel like the world is at your fingertips at the beginning of the game, then at the end of the game, you're in the exact same position because you can fetch it out from the discard pile. So, crazy card for someone like Ghouls who's control brained, right? And so there's escape rope, so you're just going to be able to push this
he's
cram.
getting something no matter what.
Yep.
He doesn't even have to Pelipper.
Yep. And so he probably senses that, hey, everything over there is pretty valuable. Not really going to care what you push up. And this is a big decision for Spence, because I imagine that...
I feel like it's got to be Hopslax.
Yeah.
It's got no resources on it. Everything else can, everything else can evolve. Everything else has tools. It, as much as it sucks as that's like his attacker, Ghouls is going to be hurting himself with the hops.
There's versus Seeker for Hex.
There's the Hex. Yep.
And still has Pelipper in hand.
Yep. He could just Hex for 3 turns.
That's probably what we're going to see, I would imagine.
I mean, he'll have to get energy onto
something.
Yeah. Like, he could Pelipper for Raihan right now. Get an energy attached onto the bench Snorlax, like to have it at the ready.
Yeah, I agree.
That's if it's not prized. If it's prized, that is unfortunate. Because he could have Pelippered for that, and then the next turn, if Spence is able to knock out the hop, verse Seeker it, have 2 energy from multiple Raihan turns.
And there's also a potential that Crispin's still alive too for Ghouls. I don't know if the metal or water are prized or down. I know the other colors are accounted for. I know the yellow, the red, and the brown are out or in the discard pile at this point. But still a water and a metal floating around somewhere.
Okay, going into prizes. Probably just confirming he's not overthinking it. And getting the heavy ball out of hand. Yep, there's the Hex.
Yeah, went ahead and did all of his drawing with his abilities before playing down the Hex Maniac. And now catching back up in this prize race. So we're now at 2 apiece. Very interesting spot here, though, now where Spence is going to have some kind of charging answer to this Hopslax.
He still has double colorless energy. So if he has Raihan or Crispin.
Yeah, double turbo still in hand, right? We've seen it for for a couple of turns. Yep.
I'm going to keep calling it one of the banned ones every time.
Artisan's still in play, too, so you could even do this with a normal Snorlax.
Ooh, and the Avery.
Oh, yeah.
So there goes his other
attacker.
The Pelipper's being used.
It's going to come down to this Greedent, right? That's Ghouls' backup attacker right now. That's what this board declares. And that is a 1-turn power-up. Crispin, next turn, could power up the Greedent and you're attacking. So, or you can leave it for the last turn. I don't know. We'll see. This is a big turn for Spence. See if he can take a knockout on this Hop Slacks.
Yeah, because even the Raihan is a 1-turn power up for the. Yeah, he's got a lot of options for making sure he gets into that, as long as it's not prized.
And seeing the Avery play. Okay, here we go. I was going to say, what kind of attacker are we going to see? This is the attacker. Fan Rotom.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect.
There's
like I said, Evan, 2-2-2. So Fan did its job. Here in the late game, we see it show up again. Take one of those final prize cards for Spence. And now it's just one more knockout away. Now Spencer could, power up to 1. This is going to be costly. Because if you don't have a piece of it in hand right now, the number to get to cards in hand gets tricky. This is another interaction that I ran into the other day. Okay. Is the tool still live for Ghouls? I don't know that we've seen the tool used yet.
It looks like he's going to shuffle in.
Yeah, but Artisan's in play, so he'll be able to grab one right back out. I don't want to see him attack with the Hop Slacks again, though. Then Spence just has to recover the Fan again.
Yeah, because for clarity's sake, Ghouls has 2 prizes left, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, Ghouls has 2 and Spence is to 1. Yep. That's what I've got on the diagram.
Okay.
Yep.
I can just only see the 1 on my screen here, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misspeaking and missed something there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Spence is on his last, so this is not where I would want to be, per se. But maybe Ghouls is expecting... I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. There's lots of thoughts going into it.
Spencer's been sitting there with the double turbo at the ready.
Yep, exactly.
Just waiting.
Yep.
So as long as he has Crispin or Raihan...
Or even just Greedent. Even just an evolution to Greedent.
Yeah.
Yep. Because 210 minus the 20 is going to be knocking out everything, like we had said earlier. That's why the powerful didn't really matter to Spencer, because the math doesn't matter against this colorless deck.
And what did he grab off of the Pelipper?
I'm not sure either. I don't think we've seen it played yet, so we probably will very soon. And another thing to mention, Evan, if Ghouls doesn't evolve this Squobit on the bench, Spence still has not used his Guzma yet, I don't believe.
Correct.
So
yeah, that's just a Fan Rotom.
Guzma for game. So we've got a chatter mentioning that Hex was grabbed again with the Pelipper.
Okay.
Thank you, Luna.
I wanted to assume that, but I didn't want to mislead anyone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's Hex playing 3 turns in a row. Like, if you can do it, you should.
You do it.
Um,
Triple acceleration to the Pelipper to take the knockout too. So that was the line that Ghouls elected to take to win the 90 damage with the wing attack off of the Pelipper.
yep.
More than enough to knock out the Fan Rotom. So we're seeing all the attackers come down too in this matchup as well, which is really cool. It's just kind of the way that the deck is meant to roll and play. Ghouls piloting it very, very wonderfully so far. Spence as well. No discredit to Spencer. Spencer put in a pretty rough position turn 1 with the Parallel City, and he's dug out of the hole. Now, can he find one more attack? We know he has access to no abilities again. There's the double turbo.
There's the double.
Do we have the evolution? Versus Seeker's going to search us out. Winona. Does Winona get us enough cards?
I believe he has. Believe he has 6 cards in hand.
Yeah. I think he's found it. Do the math. Boom. Yep. As long as you have 5, Spencer, that's game.
Oh.
Spencer. You do not have to discard exactly 5 cards.
Just swing, buddy.
Yeah,
just swing.
He did this with me the other night. He thought, he's like, I've got to discard. Yeah.
6.
Game.
Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Great game 1, guys. That was awesome, Evan.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the early play putting all of the Snorlax on the bottom of the deck. I'm not gonna lie.
Guess what? Turned out to
be... It worked.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, 6 cards there, so Winona doesn't actually need to grab an extra Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. But bench space is at a premium, and so I think
trying to get into the Wingull early is big.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to just keep swinging with Fan Rotom and just keep getting set up, you should probably do that. Because it's a very strong card, very big setup. Just have to worry about things like Parallel, Lost City, that very bad things can happen with that one. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming Ghouls is going to choose to go second here. Once we have confirmation of that, we'll see how he takes his.
Yeah, I would imagine so too, Evan, for sure. Big thanks to everyone while the guys are shuffling up for this game 2. Big thanks to everyone for hanging out on this late Friday evening. You could be doing anything else but choosing to spend your time with us, so we appreciate it very much from the Turbo Blaze guys. Can't state it enough how awesome this community has been over the last month, and can't wait for everything in the future coming out of the space, coming out of the team. We have a lot of big ideas and a lot of things on the horizon, so stick around. It's about to get fun, for sure.
And shout out to the people watching the replays.
Yeah.
Who can't respond to this live.
For sure. Definitely love our replay viewers. on YouTube. It's how I kind of get into watching games most of the time, especially on like a night like tonight. I would wake up in the morning and see something like this and just be like, yeah, I know what I'm watching in the morning over breakfast.
Yeah, I'm very much the person that finds out about the live stream after it's ended, and hey, it's it's still always fun to watch. So I thought we had a mulligan from Spencer there, but
I know
no,
again.
just cutting
Right.
still.
Yeah. All right. So we do find a basic. And Wingle start on both sides of the board. Spence is going first in this game. We'll see if he can establish turn one rotom. Oh my goodness. He says, do you have it, ghoulies?
Is he going for the scoop up?
Yeah, he said it. He said, if you got it, I'm going out on my own terms. If you don't got it, then
Yep. Yep, there's the jet and the stadium.
sheesh.
Well,
Hey, you know what,
that's
Evan?
how we took
Evan.
game 2.
Yeah, Evan, after an hour-long game one, this would be right back on track to make time. That's insane. So we see
This is how you get tie games, is
yeah,
having just
no,
like
that's true.
a brain breaker like that first game and then donk.
This is how my second round this week went. Weirdly enough, I lost a long game one, donked in game two, and then game three, luckily, was a fast one. I benched out my opponent, so we were able to conclude that one in 90 minutes. But yeah, that's it's definitely how games are tied in terms of time tournament play. And I mean, even you think to best of one, that first game was
Yeah,
about an
that
hour and 4 minutes. So definitely a tie in terms of single game too.
do you know if we've had confirmation if the new time call rule is going to affect GLC players?
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point. I know that Andrew's been on vacation all week, so that's kind of one
Yeah.
reason why we felt like it was okay to kind of green light to not. Plus, we're so late anyway to not that I don't think there would have been much disruption
Yeah.
with what he has going on. But we always take into consideration everything that they're doing over there at Tricky Gym fully
Yep.
into our hearts. So I imagine that there hasn't been a post on it just yet, but I could see it being addressed in the coming weeks.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't take effect until September.
Exactly.
Um, it'll just be interesting for a best of one format for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and that's what they were mentioning at the 1K that I was at in Atlanta a little bit ago. Is that in a best of one format? Not really sure how that will work out. If that will be what's best for the format exactly.
Yeah. It would be a huge nerf for control that, those last couple turns,
Yes.
that could be it.
Yep.
Depending on like the type of setup they're trying to do, or things like Wug Trio Mill. Maybe you're 2 cards off and you've got 2 turns. Now you have the 1 turn. That
All right.
it'll be interesting to see what they decide and how
Jeez.
Pokemon goes about it.
So Ghouls going first again this game. Spence electing to go second in the rubber match here, and Ghouls is going to start off with the capture energy onto the hop slags. So Fan Rotom is live off of this capture energy for another flawless kind of first turn from Ghouls' side of the board. And again, the onus will then be on Spence to respond with a Fan Rotom of his own. Ghouls able to get to his Fan Rotom without having to put a stadium into play, so again, Spence, that will just require another resource from Spencer if he wants to attack with his own fan turn 1. But we saw from the first game that if both players set up, it can be this can get grindy pretty quick.
Yeah, the tide can turn really quick between Avery, Parallel City, and like Lost City. Just from like what's focused. But also if they aren't getting into either of those, it's just gonna be a slugfest. Just the 2 there. Assuming he's just trying not to overextend by grabbing the evolutions early.
And it's also possible that they're prized or in hand too, but
yeah,
I'm like you. It's definitely something that to note that you don't at least thin them out of your deck.
Now, hear me out. If Spence can get into Fan Rotom, Jet, Lost City, and not have to worry about Pelipper the entire game,
be a good spot. You're exactly right. It's just one. There it is. Oh. There it is, Evan. Evan Wiki. Hey. Evan Wiki, what a call. Because as long as all the pieces are there.
Yeah, there we go. He even pointed out my name. There we go. Yeah. That could be disgusting. Oh, yep.
That's hilarious.
And it's there.
Yep.
But is the Jet.
And also to be noted, this is probably going to be another full game because both players are going to have access to the Fan Rotom on this first turn of the game. So, going to be able to get out those board states pretty much how they want.
Yeah, and if he does take the Pelipper, or, well, the Wingull, if he takes the Wingull right now, it leaves the Fan Rotom in the active in a way where if it gets sent to the Lost Zone, he doesn't have the easy chip damage anymore that he could use to take out like the Hop Snorlax.
Right.
Or
yeah, it's a good point, Evan. We saw how valuable the fan was for Spencer. But that being said, there may also be a world where Ghouls sees that. It just kind of depends on what else Spence can get established, because Ghouls may see that and want to bump the Lost City immediately too, so that his fan is not in jeopardy.
He went for the Artizone, so he's going for the safer play.
Going for the safe play. And I don't hate that. That at least sets him back a turn at the very least. Yeah, because no Bidoof down either. No Bidoof down either, Evan. So no draw engine established for Ghoulies yet at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no Oranguru, no Bidoof setup.
Now you're giving him access to Artizon. So I imagine that we probably will see Oranguru come down if, Ghouls values trying to start drawing through the deck. And I don't think that would be a bad place to be if you were him, because you're going to be able to respond to this Fan Rotom with your own Fan Rotom next turn. And this is where the Guzman Hollow is perfect, because you don't even have to jet the fan up. You have the perfect energy on the Fan Rotom, which is that Recycle Energy turn 1. If you get the Recycle down early, then you can be using that Recycle Energy to fuel your first 3, 4 attacks, even as long as you're attacking with the fan or the Cramorant in those turns. So we love seeing the recycle out early for Spencer.
Okay, Taurus Tenacity. I could also see Spencer being the person that would like choose to put Artizone out when he has Avery in hand. Being like, yeah, set up your bench.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's a very...
And here it makes you wonder if Ghouls respond.
Oh.
Yeah. I was about to ask this question. Makes me wonder if Ghouls responds with a lost city of his own.
Yeah.
Seeing how valuable the fan is, knowing the prize route. Could elect to get in here now with his own fan to remove Spencer's for the rest of the game.
Okay, so looks like he's aiming to attack with the
Like
hop
he
spikes
could have
there.
access to another energy in hand, right? Could
Yeah,
just be
I
holding it
mean,
for
he could
next turn.
double if he has the tool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, if you're playing Colress's Tenacity to get specifically Lost City, then you put the double in
Yeah,
hand anyway. He may have access to a color or something like that in his hand as well.
we'll see if he has the double, the tool.
Yeah, recycle from his side too. So there's the other energy.
Because he could get rid of Bidoff forever right now, or Squub it.
Yeah.
If he has the double in hand.
Yep. Yeah, that would be
Oh,
literally all he would have needed for sure. But let's not have
yep,
had
he's
access to
going
that
for the fan.
evolution. Yep. So opts to just remove the fan from the game entirely.
Spencer's doing some big math.
I think he just didn't see the attack announced. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably what it was, Evan, more than anything. He just missed it.
Oh, he is doing a long division. I can feel it.
Quite possible. Yeah. If you're playing Cypher Maniac, there's a good possibility you are doing some long division. So the 2-card combo here. Uh-huh.
Wondering what he has in hand.
That's probably the driving force here. You know, not knowing what he has access to in hand. Can't really tell
Because he
you what
could
he may need.
double and
Yeah,
use the Lost City to take one of his supports.
exactly.
He could.
Yeah.
He's got so many different routes available here. Okay, so nothing to do with what's in his hand. Good to know.
Okay. Triple
Oh,
Excel.
oh. Nope, that's a judge call.
How so?
You can't attach triple Excel to a basic.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'll grab them. Yo. Hang on, stop. So, Spence, you're gonna have to put like a card back, and I know that this is like weird, but you can't. So you couldn't attach the triple Excel to the basic. That's what Evan just popped and said. Yep. So you could evolve. Cool. Yeah, sure. And you're gonna see it off the top deck anyway, unless something's disrupted. But that just yeah. That fixes it. Literally, is that you evolve first and then you attach. But yeah, okay. No, you're good. You're good.
Just for continuity's sake.
Cool.
Can't be doing that one.
Cool. Yeah, and Spence will
Don't wanna advertise that.
remember that too, and that's a good thing to have you in here on. So good catch.
Yeah, and when the new ignition energy comes out in Black Bolt and White Flare,
You can attach it.
yeah,
Yes.
that one can be attached to a basic.
Yeah.
And then evolved into to use it. Both of them do still discard themselves.
But
It'll
yeah,
just
that's
be
the big
having to remember which one does which.
right. And we're
Hopefully they make
thinking
a
that
gold
we're
one.
probably going to play both of them. That's like
Oh yeah,
the idea with this deck for sure, especially with all the support bonds that we don't care to attack with. That's like
yeah.
we saw it last game. When Pelipper's getting in there, that the deck's like running on some weird ways that it wants to be running.
Yeah, and he was able to get the Squabbit out for good. Ooh.
What are you catching, Evan?
Well, he just played Escape Rope and Lost City's still active.
Uh-oh.
Spence only has his 2 supports on bench. Ooh.
It's gotta be the squirrel, right? Weirdly enough. How many cards in that hand?
I feel like he doesn't have access to the Oranguru, so it has to be the Squabbit.
Ouch. And the fan wrote I'm gonna go 2-2 again. Yeah, and there's the Oranguru from Ghouls' side. Like we had mentioned too. Able to get that established. Man, and that resource having to be burned last turn, now it just makes it where it's even harder for Spencer to attack this turn.
Yeah.
Cypher Maniac for Ghouls is going to line up whatever he wants.
I don't believe he has any basic energy in discard either, so he wouldn't be able to do the Raihan. He could Crispin.
Yeah.
But then he'd still need the tool. It'll be interesting to see if he has anything he can burn to get into more cards. Neither of them having Squabbit for the rest of this game is going to be rough.
Yeah, and I think it's going to put us at a place, Evan, where whoever has the developed attacker first is probably going to be in a very good position. Now, the caveat for that is obviously this Hop Snorlax that's only going to be able to attack twice, and then it KOs itself. But who's going to be able to draw into the energy acceleration cards that we need, again, to be able to bring this game to a close? We see both players go to 4 prize cards now, so we're in Cramorant turns for both. So we don't need much here, but
the issue being
Stadium.
If we go into Cramorant turns right now
with Lost City in play.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. We know Guzman Hall has already been played. There's no Pelipper established now. There's the tool raw. Oh, Spence. If you do that, you're not attacking this turn. Yep, better be careful.
Well, depends on what else is in his hand. Okay, so he's getting, yep, there we go. So now he can at least try and go for the cram, possibly.
Slams his hand down on the deck, on the table. What's the shuffle from here,
Evan? He was special charging the triple acceleration. Yep. Yeah, I think he was trying to figure out if it would be worth him attaching to the double just to be able to draw more in hopes to hit the Crispin, but that's
But
real
you're
risky.
gonna need more than that though. If that, yeah, no, you're right. I think that's just where he may be, or may have been in his headspace. We find unfaced fat Snorlax and a jet energy, but it's not great.
Hex,
Pass.
yeah, Hex pass.
Now, notably, the Fan Rotom cannot reliably even two-shot this Snorlax that's in the active right now without.
Hops Snorlax without its ability is 10 short as well. So he would have to get into,
Some kind of damage
muscle
modifier.
band.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, muscle band. He could get into powerful energy and then just have a lot of energy on him.
There's going to be no extra draw either.
Yeah, watching no nest stashing and colorless, it's a little jarring.
Hopslax with the double turbo energy would even actually be shorter than that on taking this KO, I think.
Yeah,
Only
yeah, he'll
doing,
be 30 short.
yeah, only doing
So it
120.
would have to be.
Yeah. Spence has bought himself a turn, but at what cost? Because next turn, I mean, you're probably not moving this Snorlax. Obviously, double turbo means that you're just attacking, which is good. I do want to stress how big it is, though, that these players are really limiting the what I keep calling tonight Cramorant turns, the 3 and 4 prize card turns for each opponent. Ghoul's pointing out the 150 HP is so annoying. Is what I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Is what I guess that he was pointing out there. Man,
That I don't know about that.
Postwick's in play. So is this a knockout? 140,
Yep,
170. Yeah, it's perfect math. Perfect math. 150 on the dot.
yep.
So he just is having to use this Snorlax. Which, as we had previously mentioned, this puts Spence in a weird spot because he has two pretty valuable Pokemon in the Lost Zone in both the Fan Rotom and the Squovit. This is tough. And Ghouls is the player that is going to get to that backup attacker first now, Evan. With that Snorlax on the bench with an energy already attached to
Yeah.
it, he is 100% going to be the one to get there first. He can use Cramorant next turn, but at the very least,
You can look at the list here. This Cramorant with Hop Snorlax, that's doing 150.
mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if you had both of those, energy on Cramorant and Guzma, you could get rid of the Snorlax on bench. Now, does he
Yes.
have all those cards? No.
We just brought back the Snorlax, it looks like, attached energy to it and passed again. Is what I'm pretty sure we're looking at here. There's got to be a draw coming. Surely, right? Unless that's what Spence drew up to, and then yeah, this is on Ghoulies right now. Oh, the escape rope. That's what we're waiting on. The escape rope decision from Ghouls. So Spence still has board state to play through. No, does just pass afterwards. Okay. All right, we got the barrel.
But how many cards does he have in hand?
Oh.
Or, well, better question, how many cards can he get through in his hand?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's not looking good.
Not at all. As now Ghouls is going to totally bypass Cramorant turns for Spence. Another energy. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
scooping.
Yep. That's what I figured. So, yeah, I figured as much. We'd probably see that after the writing on the wall there. Cramorant.
Yeah, Scrub It and the fan being lost zoned is.
Yeah, definitely not where you want to be for sure. Well, hey,
yeah.
We saw a good 3 games. One of which, not really as much of a game, but we definitely saw these 2 pilots play these lists to incredible effect tonight. I don't think that we saw many misplays that I could, catch tonight. There were no, missed energies and crazy things that we've seen in the first rounds from some of the decisions with the deck. But all in all, congratulations to Ghoulies for getting the win, moving to 2-0 in the async tournament, and pushing closer to possibly going 4-0 and getting himself a little prize for his efforts. But again, Evan, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. It was a real treat. Glad that we got to get you on the cam, and obviously can't wait to do it many more times.
Yeah, it's fun.
Any closing thoughts before we send ourselves out of here for the night?
I'm just excited to play more GLC. So yeah. Anybody watching that doesn't play, anybody watching that does play, let's play.
Yeah, definitely. We will be hanging out in the community servers often. So if you're looking for a game, hit us up, and like Evan's saying, he'll be ready to get at you. So from the Turbo Blaze team tonight, guys, thank you for hanging out. We will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.